Israel's military says that its initial inquiry has found that mistaken identification led to a strike on an aid convoy early this week, killing 7 World Central Kitchen staff and triggering international outcry. And the IDF has fired 2 senior officers involved in the incident and passed the findings to the Army's top legal authority to determine if there has been any criminal conduct. World Central Kitchen has demanded an independent probe, saying that Israel's military is not able to credibly investigate on its own. And hours after the US warned of a possible shift in its policy on Israel's war against Hamas, Israel announced that it will allow temporary aid deliveries into famine-threatened northern Gaza. The Israeli Security Cabinet approved the reopening of the Erez crossing into the area and permitted the temporary use of Ashdod port, as well as increasing the flow of Jordanian aid through the Kerem Shalom crossing point in southern Israel. Washington has welcomed the move.
These are positive developments, but the real test is results. And that's what we're looking to see in the coming days and in the coming weeks. Some of the measurements that we've been deeply concerned by, including the fact that almost 100% of the population is acutely food insecure, that they're indicators of potential famine. We'll be looking closely at those to see that they're reversed.
Sarah Coates joins us live now from Tel Aviv. Sarah, what's the reaction to IDF's response to the deaths of the 7 World Central Kitchen aid workers, which they've essentially said is a case of mistaken identity?
Dawn, of course, there's still just so much anger. We've heard there from the World Central Kitchen, as you just mentioned, saying that the IDF simply cannot investigate its own failures, calling for an independent inquiry. What this will do, though, is really force Israel to address this absolutely dire situation on the ground or face consequences. We do understand, according to a number of military officials, that there will be some 100 trucks coming through that Kerem Shalom crossing from Jordan a little later today. But really, the question remains is, will this be enough to actually address the catastrophe that is ongoing in the Strip? Aid groups say that these people are on the brink of famine. We know, according to aid groups, that people in the northern part of the Gaza Strip are surviving on some 245 calories per day. That's around the same as a can of beans. So this is extremely worrying. And there's another thing we need to take into account. Even though these crossings may be opened and trucks may be coming in, aid groups have also pulled out. The World Central Kitchen over the last 3 weeks, it has provided some 600 tons of vital humanitarian aid. And when all of this happened, there were more ships on the way bringing more aid into the Strip. But they, of course, have since been turned around. Dawn.
Sarah, meantime, the United States has, of course, renewed pressure on Israel. But how likely is that going to affect the ongoing truce talks?
Well, we do know, according to Axios, citing a number of US sources, that the head of the Mossad, David Barnea, also the CIA chief, Bill Burns, they'll be travelling to Cairo this weekend to try and find a breakthrough in these talks, to get a ceasefire, to get these 130 or so hostages out. It is set to happen on Sunday, although really what we have been seeing here time and time again are these real differences in Israel and Hamas's positions. This last round failed. Hamas rejected it. There are still these sticking points, Dawn, and these are Israel's refusal to allow people from the northern Gaza Strip, especially men of fighting age, to return back. This is one of Hamas's demands. Another is, of course, this comprehensive ceasefire. And this is what we've been hearing from Israel time and time again, that it certainly will not allow a ceasefire without going down into that very southern area of Rafah, where some 1.3 million internally displaced Palestinians are sheltering, with Israel claiming this is where the last 4 Hamas battalions are, saying that it needs to do so to be able to win this war. So certainly really seems like these two parties are real loggerheads here, Dawn, and doesn't seem like much will be achieved.
Sarah, thank you for that update. Sarah Coates there in Tel Aviv.